Hello everybody and welcome back to the second tutorial of Python lists, and right now we're going to simply continue and show you some different stuff you can actually do with the lists themselves. So let us get right into it. So open up your idle. Okay, I will enlarge this since in the previous video I decided to actually enlarge this so you can see everything a little bit better. Should have remembered to do that straight away, but doesn't even matter, better sooner than never. Okay, so basically, you can actually create smaller lists out of the bigger lists. So what we did in the previous video, we saw how we can select specific elements from a list, how we can use also negative indexes in order to select elements, how we can create lists that contain elements of different lists. But right now, let us say we have a big list, so we'll just call it big list. And that list will contain both the names of certain people and the integer numbers. So let us do it like that. We'll first of all start by names. Let's say John, comma, then we can use, for example, Jack, and then comma once again, and then let's use, for example, Jane. So 3 different names, then comma, and then we will specify some numbers, okay? So 5 numbers, 5 integer values, and that is our list. So once again, our list consists of names and numbers. Now let's say we want to actually divide this list. We want to create 2 smaller lists that are actually going to be a list of names that is only going to contain names from this list, and the other list will be a list of numbers that is only going to contain the numbers from this list. Okay? So simply, we can do that by specifying a new list. So for example, let's start off by name list. And that name list is going to be equal to big underscore list. And then we want to select which elements we want to take in our name list. And we can do that by specifying from the first element, which is the element labeled as 0, to the third element, which is or fourth element basically, which is the element labeled as number 3. If you press here enter and you print the name list, you can see that we successfully got all 3 names stored into the name underscore list, just by specifying which values we want to take from our bigger list that we coded at the beginning. Now let's do the same for the numbers. For the numbers, we can actually do it something like this. So number underscore list will be equal to big list, and we'll take the values from 3 until the end or till the 8th element, because we have 8 elements in this list. If you just specify right here and you print the numbers list, so number underscore list, you can see we got the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's say, for example, that this list was a lot larger and not just 5 integer values. We wouldn't really know what this number is. Therefore, what we want to do is basically we want to find a way that we can actually specify it from the third element, for example, till the end. Now you can do that by simply doing the same thing. So second number list, let us call it like that, will be equal to big underscore list, and basically from third and then 2 dots and then just close square brackets. What this means is it will take everything from the third element until the actual end, no matter how big this list is. Therefore, you don't really need to specify the number of elements in order to get all of this. If this was larger, a lot larger, you would be able to get all of it with simply specifying this. As you can see right here, if I just print it right here, so second number underscore list, you will get the same thing as right here. Okay? Now you can simply do it as well with the beginning of the list itself. So you don't really need to specify name list to be equal like this. You can specify second underscore name underscore list to be equal to big underscore list, and then from the beginning specifying with 2 dots till the third element right here. So what this will do is it will take all the elements from the beginning until the number you specify right here. Therefore, this will be the same as our previous name list. As you can see, it only contains names. Now, of course, if you want to, for example, you can also use negative indexes, such as, for example, you can select the name list or the third underscore name list to be equal to the big list. From the actual first element, which is labeled as 0, till the element labeled as -5. Whoops, where is -5? There it is. Specify it like that. And if you print the third element or third name list, you can see it will still contain the names. So there are a bunch of ways that you can actually select different elements or same elements on a different way. You can pick any you want. This really doesn't make any sense, but you can use it if you need it sometimes. This one is mostly useful because you will most likely be dealing in real life with bigger lists. Therefore, you will not really know the amount of lists, even though I will show you right now how you can check the exact number of elements in a certain list. So this one is also useful once you have a smaller list, so this can be used too. But for now on, let me show you how you can actually check the exact number of elements that are in a certain list. So let's say we actually, let me just import os.system. Yeah, okay, this doesn't work in a Python interpreter. I mistook it with an actual shell itself. Let me just see. Restart shell. Yeah, that should work. Or basically it will not work. Next is to interrupt execution. Next is to previous is okay. Yeah, I'm not really sure if there is any option to actually clear this screen. Doesn't even matter. We will just continue it right here. Basically, what I did right here is restarted the shell, which means that we don't really have any of these values stored anymore. So if you want to print, for example, big list, you will not be able to because it doesn't really exist anymore. Okay, so right now, let us create an actual list that will store, for example, 2 words. Hello and world. And now we can count by ourselves and we can know that this actual list has 2 elements, but if we actually have a huge list, let's say a list of databases of different names in a certain website, you would actually need to use something differently than counting by yourself how many names are in that certain list. So you can simply just use a variable length _of _lists, which is going to take an integer value returned by a function that we already did before and we were introduced to it, so it is really nothing new. The function is called length, so len, and in the brackets you simply specify from which you want to take the length. You want to take the length from the list, and if you print right now the length of lists, you will have 2, as our list really does have 2 elements. Now you can also do it with numbers as well, so it doesn't really matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you perform the same, so length _of _list will be equal to length of this list right here. Print length _of _list. Oops. And you will have that it has 9 elements, which is actually correct. So this is a way that you can actually get the number of the elements themselves. And it is really useful in most cases. So that will be about it for this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed this lecture, and I hope I will see you in the next one. Bye.